how's it going? In this video, I'm going to explain how to deploy the node.js application to Firebase and how to setting the configurations. First of all, let's open our GitHub project and download the project, synchronize it, and we get the newest version of the code. After that, we will run yum install to install all the dependencies. And after all the dependencies are properly installed, we run yum build to build the application to binary files, which is ready to be deployed on Firebase. It takes a little bit of time, and we can look into the Firebase official website. Here it explains that how we get started with Firebase hosting, and before that we need to go to the Firebase console to look into some configurations in Firebase. And here can be where project is what I'm going to deploy. Can be where, yeah. And we need to go to the web hosting module, which is offer the specific function of web hosting. I did to creating brand new Firebase project. The functions need to be opened, and possibly you need to go to the database to open Firestore, which enables you to enable the web hosting functions. And this is all we should do priorly before our deploy. We can go to, yes, it has done. And we can see from the command line that the build folder is which we ready to be deployed. And we can go to the folder that sees, yes, there's a build folder, and all these files should be deployed to Firebase. Now we're going to start to deploy that, and we need to run this command line npm install g Firebase tools in order to install the Firebase command line. Actually, I don't know whether it's the same in Windows operating system, but there's according to the official help doc, we can see there's an installed command line interface, and we navigate into this file. We can see there's this npm version which offers you to install Firebase tools that we need to install that. I see it for Windows and the Mac, and possibly Linux. Actually, I don't know who is working on Linux, but we need to know that because the command line seems to be the same. And we copy this command line, go to our terminal, and paste that to install the command line. And it also takes some time. And if you don't want to install globally, you can delete the -g in this command. But normally we need to do that. And it will fetch the latest version. Now currently Firebase at 8.2, the latest version. Because previously I don't use the latest version, so I'm going to update that. And then let me display some specific configurations in that project, which is related to our Firebase configurations. Now we can see there is a file named firebase.json. In this file, we can see that the hosting site can be where -URL, and the folder which we need to be deployed by default is named public. We rename to build, and we don't need to deploy all these things to Firebase. So we set up these configurations. No worries that usually Firebase, when you install the command line and you run the Firebase initiation, this configuration will automatically generate it, and these files are already recorded in GitHub. And the second file we need to have a look at the Firebase resource. In this file, we configure the default project can be where URL, and we need to notice that because we have several different branches, and this is the branch, the master branch for production. And when we look into the other branch, when we look into that files, so here we still use this same project. It's the Firebase.json. We see the site is different, and when we look into the Firebase console, we will see the Firebase test, the Firebase-URL. This is two different hosting domains, and we deploy the production side to here, and deploy the test build to here. So we need to have a look before we deploy that. Otherwise, we will mess that up, and we need to clarify how the Firebase does before we do something like the private CI continuous integration to enable the automatic deployment. And for the automations, I think possibly mostly we need to clarify how we can do it manually before we do the automatic things. So we back to the master branch. Here we go, and we run Firebase init. Here I record all commands here. So the first thing is that we need to run Firebase login to log in our Firebase account. And here, because I have already logged in to the Firebase, and it shows me that my account is this. And yes, I have already logged in. But if I run Firebase logout to log out my account, then I run Firebase login to relog in my account. Yes, so here we show that allow Firebase to collect CLR usage and error reporting for sure. Then it is required for me to log in my account, and I will log in my account. Here shows that whether allow Firebase command line to log in my account. I allowed. Then, successful. Then an important command line is the Firebase use to indicate what specific project we are using. The active project can be where -URL. This is the same project we here used. But if you here default, if not, it can be where URL. You may need to change your project and how we change the project. And we may need to look at how we can switch from among different projects. I'm wondering whether I have yes, and I can see yes, we can run Firebase list to see amount of different projects. Oh, what happened? Because the Firebase command line is changed, and here we need to use this command line to have a look at the different projects. Yes, here we see that we are using this blue current project, and there's a list of different projects we may possibly need to use. And if we want to switch to another project, we may need to use this command line, Firebase use, and the project's ID. And the project ID is shown here. So the next step, we need to run Firebase init to init our project. And here shows the list of functions we can use in Firebase for this real-time database Firestore to configurations, cloud functions, hosting, and storage. And the hosting is we need to use. And we press blank space to choose this and return. And it shows what do you want to use your public directive. Remember, this is a very important step because by default, Firebase will open and set as a public area directory, but we don't want it. As I mentioned, after we build the app, we use the build as our directory to deploy the app. So here we setting the build as a public directory. Configure as a single page, rewrite all URLs. This is not what we want to use. So no. Remember, this is very important two steps. If you not do so, you may need some severe problems. So we see that Firebase here rewrite in 404 HTML. This is acceptable. And here show that I want to overwrite our index.html that we already generated by Yum build, and it's not we want to use, so we should know. Alright, you can see it generated Firebase.json, not Firebase resource. This tool file again, and we can see from here, we see the Firebase.json and the Firebase resource. And as I mentioned that when we go to GitHub, you can see the difference between these tools. And because there are two sites we are managing in our Firebase single project, so we need to specify the site we want to deploy the app. So we add the site can be where-1 here. Also, we don't think we want to rewrite the index, so we set in here, and so we want to recover it back, and we don't want to change the settings here. So here we go, and it seems everything is good to go, and we run Yum build to rebuild the app. But I'm afraid that Firebase will change anything in our build folder, which is we don't want. So we rebuild the application in the build folder. Alright, it takes some time, and then we can see the Travis CI parts here, the Travis starts demo is a file install all the configuration commands for the automations, and I will explain this file to you. And here we can see the language is node.js, and the version of node.js is version 11. Actually, it's not the latest version. You may possibly need to change to the newer version. And before we run yarn install, we need to manage all the things in the folders, because we use different data source. So we like to first install yarn. This is the same command that we can see in yarn package.com to install yarn in the virtual machine, and then also export yarn to the system environment in Linux. And then we also want to run the same run yarn global at Firebase.tools to install the Firebase command line in the virtual machine. And this is we remote the JSON folder and make a JSON folder again, and download the JSON files from Google Drive to keep the consistency with Google Drive. And when we install this application, we run yarn install, which is the same I showed, and we also run yarn build, which is the same. And we cache the node modules, which is enable it, make it quicker to install or to build all the files. And as the final step is deploy. We don't want it deploy automatic cleanup. We want this whole folder to be built, and we set the provider as a script. The script is the file we install in script folder. And then when we open the deploy.sh, we see this Firebase double dash token, Firebase token, which is we saved in the travisci.com, and with no interactive. We don't want interaction from the virtual machine with Firebase. So with non-interactive, this is a command line we use in the automatic virtual machine, but here I deployed on my machine manually. So I also use Firebase deploy simple command to deploy the app. And we make sure all the things are properly, and we also want to recheck the Firebase resource as an exact project. Firebase.json can be where the other one and the build. And here we go. We run Firebase deploy, and with no tokens because I have already logged in my account, and Firebase already has saved my token in my local machine. So here's the tokens, and we see we deployed hosting to canbeware.ua, and we found 40 files to build, and all the things have been done. And we return back to our hosting and canbeware.ua and see whether it works properly. Hopefully so, I'm not quite sure. Maybe well. Here we go. Yes, seems good. Seems our latest version. We run the Firebase console game to monitor the hosting to see whether it's okay or not. And you see, yes, here are 42 files have been uploaded, and it's the exact version we want to use. And here we done.